Hello everyone. Somebody asked me recently what my thoughts were on the mounting criticism for Jordan Peterson that's been going on in the media recently, mostly targeted at his statements involving enforced monogamy, which I'm not going to go into in this video. If you want to find out what he thinks about that, then you can look into it, and if you want to find out what his critics are saying, you can look into that as well. But it seems completely natural to me that Jordan Peterson is getting more criticism than he was before because he's more popular than he was before, and the more popular he gets, the more dangerous he gets to other people with certain ideas, and the more they're going to criticize him. So the fact that he's getting more criticism doesn't, to me, signify anything wrong is going on. It doesn't seem to be influencing his popularity at all. Of course, getting criticism is absolutely fine. Getting the kind of criticism he's getting, which is sometimes a little bit underhanded and dishonest, is not great, but again, it doesn't seem to be having any influence on his popularity or on him. But what I did notice is that he's been taking his criticism very seriously and responding to it oftentimes in a very well thought out and purposeful manner, it works well for thoughtful, useful, constructive criticism, and think people who are actually debating his ideas and discussing what he's actually been saying. But when he's addressing criticism that is completely unfounded and dishonest, it comes across as a bit petty. In particular, I'm thinking about a blog post that Jordan Peterson wrote in response to a Vox article about him, and particularly about one comment that was made about his book 12 Rules for Life. One anecdote in that book where he was talking about his practice, something that happened with one of his clients, and the person in the article, it was actually an interview article, bit of a strange format, but the person being interviewed in the article, who's a feminist called Dr. Kate Mann, said that she brought his whole clinical practice into question. She questioned his competence as a psychologist based on completely misrepresenting the anecdote he told in the book, to the point where it's clear that she either completely forgot what the anecdote was actually about after reading it, or that she was just lying about what the anecdote said. It seems pretty obvious. It's just what she says about the anecdote is just false. It's just not correct, and you can just read 12 Rules for Life and see that the anecdote, that the way she represents what happened in the anecdote, is completely not representative of what actually happened. I'll link to the article. It's fairly interesting, but it was so obvious to me I read the interview before I read Jordan Peterson's response to it, and it was so obvious reading it that she'd got it wrong. And my only reaction is, when reading it, oh, she's wrong. I didn't think of any more of it. I just thought, wow, this article is completely discredited now. I don't have to pay attention to anything she writes, and I'm probably going to respect this website, respect Vox, the people publishing this article, even less than I did before. And I would think nothing more of it. But Jordan Peterson's response to it is over 2,000 words long. He uses huge excerpts from the book. He goes into great detail about what actually happened in the anecdote, even though it was perfectly clear from reading it. To anyone who speaks English or can read English, it's obvious what happened. She just got it wrong. There was no way she could have misunderstood. Explaining it in 1,000 words did not help anything, as far as I can tell. It's just one tweet saying, you should read that bit again, you read that bit of the book again, would have sufficed. But at the same time, while I'm thinking Jordan Peterson's just gone way overboard with this response, I also completely understand why he did it. As an outsider, it seems a little bit bizarre to me, but when I put myself in his shoes, I can completely understand why he would go to such great lengths to defend himself, because to be lied about by other people, especially in a public platform, it's infuriating to think that this person is walking around telling other people things about you that are just wrong and that make you look stupid or incompetent, or drawing your profession into question. It's infuriating, and I can understand completely why he would write 2,000 words about it when I put myself in his position, and yet I still can't rationalize it being a good idea to do that. It reminds me of the poem by Rudyard Kipling, If. One line of it says, "If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn-out tools." Rudyard Kipling is saying in the poem that it's better to be sort of magnanimous and just, the best revenge is living well, sort of thing. Just leave it. Just don't feel, the whole sort of philosophy of the poem If, my interpretation of it is to don't sweat the little stuff. Was the expression? Just, you have to learn to let things go. Pick your battles. Just don't waste your energy on things that don't actually matter. And I think this is one of those cases. But at the same time, it does seem unjust to just let these things go. To think that this journalist would just get away with it if Jordan Peterson didn't call them out on their stupid interview. Something similar happened with PewDiePie recently. I don't know why I keep drawing comparisons between PewDiePie and Jordan Peterson, but they're two figures that I'm very interested in, who I've been following closely for the past year or so, even though they're nothing alike in any other way. But anyway, PewDiePie recently got into a bit of a spat with a Twitch streamer called Alinity, who he called a thought as a joke in one of his videos. He was referring to Twitch thoughts, who are these women who go on Twitch and are very attractive, and they play video games and get a lot of money for it because lots of people like to watch attractive people play video games. And he was calling them thoughts, but anyway, you can make your own mind up about whether he should have been doing that or not. But he didn't think it was a bad word. She did. She said a lot of things about him that weren't true. Someone wrote an article about him being misogynistic and teaching children, who are apparently his audience, that it's okay to disrespect women who are asking for it. Anyway, they said a lot of very tenuous, to say the least, things about him. And he made 2 videos responding to it, responding to what she said and responding to these articles and things. And he's never made 2 videos about the same subject. It wasn't in a row, but it was in the same week he made 2 videos about this thing. And it just seemed completely out of proportion. This Alinity person, she's no one. He gets over 5 million views on most of his videos. And I can guarantee that a lot fewer than 5 million people read that article. And I think that Alinity person's only got, I have no idea, a few thousand, maybe tens of thousands, maybe even 1 million. He's got 60 million subscribers. I don't know. Have you ever seen that XKCD comic of the guy sitting at his computer and the voice coming from behind him, presumably from his lover or significant other, saying, "Are you going to come to bed?" And he says, "No, somebody's wrong on the internet." He's typing furiously away. When I first read that, I never empathized with that guy at the computer, because I never used to be the kind of person who got into online discussions. But then as soon as I started putting out these YouTube videos, people would write things about me and in the comment sections, and I don't really care. I mean, people who are criticizing what I have to say, that's interesting. People who are saying that I look like a man and calling me ugly, I don't really care. But the people who completely misunderstand what I was saying, I made a whole video about it. The people who completely misunderstand what I said, or one thing that I said, it's just infuriating. The fact that this person exists in the world who is so wrong about me, that it's very self-centered, but to think that that person is out there being wrong and thinking I'm a bad person because they're wrong, it's just infuriating. And you spend way too much time. I'm that guy at the computer with my husband standing behind me going, "Why do you care?" If you, like, to him, he's the way I'm looking at Jordan Peterson and PewDiePie, he's doing that to me. He can't figure out why I care so much that some person on YouTube thinks I'm an idiot because they can't understand what I'm saying. So what do you think? Is it right for Jordan Peterson to go after these people who are lying about him, or these people who are just too stupid to read his book properly? or should he be spending his time making more videos and spending time with his wife and children? Is it right to let these things go and just let that person go unpunished, or is living well the best revenge? As always, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you again very soon. Thank you for watching.
I'm here in the Pyrenees today. Can you hear all the sheep and the bells? Making a real racket. Actually, to say that I'm in the Pyrenees is not quite accurate. Those are the Pyrenees. These are just some snow-topped mountains. Snow-topped hills. Like the one I'm on. There's more snow up there. It's not cold though. Not cold at all. It feels so beautiful. I wish the clouds weren't covering it at this moment.
I need a break, I need a long holiday. I'll slip my leash and run wild and free. I'll take a year and let a long holiday license me. Have to leave, I feel the world's beckoning. And while I live, I'll give life her due. It's just a thought, but would a long holiday suit you too? We'll take a break, you come along. We'll take a break, you'll come along.